Hi everyone, as you can tell I have a whole different background right behind me, but that is not going to be my permanent background because I'm still moving in and I'm trying to figure out which background I like the most in my room, so just bear with me, this is not permanent, and also I hate the color of the wall, so that's that. And I also apologize if you could hear the air conditioning. There is a heat wave going on in SoCal, so it's like 95 degrees outside and there is no way I'm filming in 90-degree weather. So as you can tell from the title, today I'm going to be doing my college experience video, which has been really requested ever since I graduated. And as I'm filming this video, it has been officially a week since I've graduated, which is so surreal. It went by really fast. And in the past week, I've had a lot of time to just reflect on my college experience, what I loved about it, what I wish I could have done better, but overall I was very pleased with how college went, so I wanted to share some things with you and my personal experiences. So I have a feeling this might be a long video, so go ahead and pause this video right now, give it a thumbs up, and also grab a snack because like I said, I feel like it's going to be a long one. I don't want to cut you short of like my experience because I'm probably just going to do this video one time. Hopefully I cover everything that is interesting to you all, and if not, then I'll do like a Q&A later on. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, so I didn't want to go off topic too much in this video because I already know it might be a long one, so I jotted down a couple bullet points I wanted to really touch on, so hopefully I don't get sidetracked, but let's be real, I like to talk, so I might get sidetracked just a little bit. First and foremost, I have never explicitly said this on camera, but now I'm going to tell you because I am officially done with college, so I have nothing to hide. So I went to UCI, which is the University of California, Irvine. It's located in Southern California, and it's really pretty. And at first, to be honest, I hated it because I was kind of forced to go there by my parents, but I got over it. It's okay, it worked out, everything was great. And I also majored in psychology, which is another question I get asked a lot from you all. So that's a little background about me and where I went. So the first thing I wanted to talk about are classes. So I know there's a lot of different colleges you can go to in California itself. I don't know about other states. And at UCI in particular, there were about 35,000 students. That might be wrong, but it's like 35,000 to 40,000 students. And so that's a lot of people on a college campus, which means your classes are going to be huge. So I remember my freshman year and my sophomore year when I was doing a lot more of like my general ed classes. Our lecture halls had 400 people inside of it, which is crazy. It's one professor literally lecturing to 400 students, which I mean most of the students didn't come a lot of the time, so it would be like 200 students, but still that's a lot of people. So I didn't really like that aspect of the UCs because I know that Cal States has smaller classrooms, like 30 to 40 students max. So that was definitely a change for me going from high school and like knowing all my teachers to going to college and like not knowing my professors, like not even knowing most of my colleagues. But once you finish your GE classes, so general ed classes, you get to take your upper div classes, which is upper division, and those ones were a little bit better. There was about 100 students in those classes instead of like 400, but that's still a lot of people. It was definitely an experience. Even some of my upper division classes had like 200 students, but the general ed classes, whew, those had the most students inside of it, like 400, that's ridiculous. And I also did end up taking a language class because I needed it to graduate, and I think that was the only class I've taken out of my 4 years of college that had 35 students in there. Like that was the smallest class I've ever taken, and I actually got to know my professor, which was really cool. So yeah, that was the smallest my class has ever been. But overall, I felt like I had a pretty good education. My professors were very knowledgeable of their courses. I mean, some of them weren't, but I mean, you always have to have the bad with the good. So the next thing I want to talk about is campus housing. Oh my goodness. Campus housing. Whew. That's a whole nother topic right there. But at UCI in particular, they only let you dorm your first year, so your freshman year, and all the other years you have to find somewhere else to live. So either campus apartments, off-campus apartments, which at UCI are literally across the street from campus, whereas campus apartments are like 2 blocks away. It's really weird. I don't know. Or you can just find like a house or something with your friends to rent out. Like there's a lot of different options. But looking back at my housing situation, I have been through a lot of stuff, like a lot. So my freshman year, I was fortunate enough to have a really cool roommate. She was my first roommate ever because, you know, usually when you live at home, you don't really have a roommate. But she was an international student from Mexico, which was really cool. And at first, it was definitely an adjustment because you're sharing a room with a complete stranger. I mean, I did Facebook stalk her, like, let's be real here. I did Facebook stalk her a little bit before I even like met her in person, but she did the same thing with me. Like, we talked about it. It was really funny. I made some friends in the dorms. There was 80 people in our dorm building alone, and we're surrounded by like other buildings. So there was like a bunch of freshman people who were dorming, and you got to know other people from other halls, and it was really fun. So I made some friends and we decided to get an apartment together, and this was my very first time living in an apartment, getting an apartment, going through that whole process, which is very adult, like, whew, very adult. But the thing about living on campus, like living around the campus area, most apartments jack up the prices so high because they know that students will pay for it. And of course, we always ended up living with like 5 people in our apartment with a 2-bedroom. Like, it was very intense, and that was how it was from my sophomore to my senior year. I always had at least like 5 roommates inside the building, but there's always that one roommate who doesn't want to clean, and it's really frustrating because everyone else is cleaning up after themselves and you have that one person who does not clean after themselves. But I digress. If you want to hear more about some crazy roommate stories and things like that, and like different situations I've been in, let me know in the comments and I will definitely do that. So the next thing I want to talk about is extracurricular activities, which is getting involved on campus. Now, I cannot emphasize how important this is, and looking back at it, I wish I got way more involved than I did, but I was very, very happy with the experience and everything that I got. It's just one of those things, when you're in the moment, it's what you want. Like, you don't want to spread yourself too thin, because I had friends who were in like 7 different clubs and never got sleep. And for me, I was like, no, I need to take care of my body. So I mean, it's a trade-off, but I do wish I got at least involved in like one more other club or something. What I was involved in was an organization called Jumpstart, and I've talked about it before on my channel, and basically we're part of like a government program. So basically the purpose of Jumpstart is to close the education gap as early in education as possible, which is preschool level. Fun fact, I don't know if this is the US in general or just California, but one of those, you can look it up. They determine how many prison cells to build based on 3rd grade test scores, which is insane. It's ridiculous. Like, I cannot believe that they base how many prison cells to build based off of your 3rd grade test scores. But anyways, that's a whole nother subject. So that's what I did. I taught to preschoolers basically, and also I qualified for work study, so I did get paid a little bit from the government to be a part of this program and like work basically. So yeah, that was what I was involved in. So aside from like housing, classes, clubs, things like that, I know that one huge thing that everyone always talks about in college are college parties. So I actually was never really involved in like the party scene that much. I don't know, I just didn't want to, but I did go out a couple times with some of my really close friends, and I had a blast like at venue parties, like fraternity venue parties. Those are so much fun. Like, they usually rent out like a club, and they have like free buses that shuttle you to the club and back, so you don't have to drive. And yeah, those are probably my favorite parties to go to. I did go to like a couple house parties, and those were like okay. Sometimes people went too hard, and like it just wasn't my thing, and I feel really awkward sometimes. So I kept my partying to a minimal because I was a grandma in college. Like, I was the only person who would probably have to like sleep at 11 at night because I had work like super early the next day because of Jumpstart. So I had to keep my body like healthy and in sync, or else I would have died. Like, I had friends who were pulling all-nighters every single night for most of the school year, and I'm like, how? Like, I can't even pull an all-nighter now. Like, it's ridiculous. So overall, I had a really fun college experience. I highly recommend it to everyone because honestly, high school diploma is not going to cut it in jobs these days, which is really unfortunate, because even bachelor's degrees don't even cut it in most job situations, which don't even get me started on that. So I wasn't the first in my immediate family to go to college. Like, I had uncles and cousins who went to college, but I mean, it was so different like now compared to like 20-30 years ago, you know? So that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and got a better sense of what college is like. If you still have other questions, leave them down below. I'll probably do a college Q&A later on, like next month or in August or something like that, because I'm sure a lot of you are curious. And yeah, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!